Oof. Here I am at the beach. Enjoying some real nice Chinese food. I can't show you what's outside. It's a little like, what is it, like inlet? What do they call it? Like a harbor? So peaceful and quiet, there's no wind. It's like a perfect place. There's like a bunch of like these rich looking houses with like their private access to the water where people can like put their boats. Actually, the Royal Yacht Marina or whatever, something like that, is just behind me. There's a whole bunch of like beautiful boats there. It's a rich neighborhood. We just finished our show, which was a humanitarian concert for a Children's Hospital Foundation. I try to help any way I can. But many ways, they help me more than I help them. In this together. And that was the title of the show. So exactly, we are all in this together. You know, the patients and the nurses. And the doctors and the families and everybody else. Today, I wanted to share a little bit about my personal life. And more precisely about my wedding. Because this morning or last night I received the news that my father-in-law passed away. It's a difficult news, of course. This man was our family friend my whole life. My father and my father-in-law were like really good friends. My mother-in-law and my late mother were also really great friends. So I remember growing up, every time my mother-in-law had a fight with her husband, my mother would have had a fight with my father. And vice versa. When my mother would have a fight with her husband, my father, then my mother-in-law would have a fight with my father-in-law. I remember that clearly. I would be sleeping and just my mother would walk to the hallway carrying a blanket, go into the living room, sleep there. I hated that, you know. There's a lot of trauma in me because I observed my parents' marriage. I couldn't help it. I tried like to bring humor to some situations or something, but I knew that my father was unhappy, my mother was unhappy. My in-laws were unhappy. Is that a happy marriage? I don't know. Mine was for a while. So yeah, I grew up with my now ex-wife. We were childhood friends. So while living in South Korea, I came to visit one summer and my mother-in-law said, "Hey, you're not married. My daughter is not married. Why don't you guys get married?" And I was like, yeah. I was 30 years old. I left my home when I was 15. It was time for me to get married because for 15 years I traveled around the world all by myself. I had a great time, but it was time for me to settle down. I wanted to have kids. My wife was the same. I asked her to move to South Korea with me, and she did. Wow. I remember when I arrived, I got married in Bosnia after so many funny stories. I mean, a Canadian getting married in Bosnia was a bureaucratic nightmare. So I had to arrive to Korea by myself and then sponsor her from there. It took less than a month. The first night I arrived, I cried. I was like, oh, I want my wife. I spent the whole night crying. I didn't want to be alone anymore, I think. And that's what it is. Then I finally found a friend. So for the next 12 years, we were best friends. We traveled all over the world. I was a professor in South Korea. I worked 15 hours a week, 5 months off. We went everywhere: Japan, China, Thailand, Turkey, Austria. Oh my God. Traveled all the time. Went to Bosnia so many times with kids, you know. It was amazing. And we should have traveled even more, honestly, but I just, you know, it was not easy. Like, I mean, 4 of us or 3 of us to travel for, let's say, a couple of weeks, it cost about $10,000 or more. But money was not a problem. I apologize, I'm eating and talking, and because I have another show to go to. So I'm really not like minding my manners. Wow. So yeah, she actually came, and you know, it was possible to sponsor a Bosnian citizen to Korea. Amazing. We had such an amazing life, man. 2 amazing kids. But I sacrificed everything. I said, when kids are bigger, I want to go back to being a rock star. I want to play music. I want to go out, shake my ass on the stage. I want everybody to be El Dean, El Dean. She probably thought I was joking or I would outgrow that stuff. But as kids got older, I was more and more getting ready to do that. She was not very happy in South Korea because she didn't have to work. She felt I was just paying for everything. She didn't have her own way. But that was not just it. There were so many other things, of course. Lots of unresolved childhood traumas on both sides. PTSD, all that jazz. So we moved to Canada, and then everything went just south. Even though we went north. She just became extremely suspicious and angry at me all the time. I was the same way. Finally, police got involved. Social services. She said she was afraid of me, so I got kicked out. I lost my wife, my kids, my home, my restaurant, which I opened in order to provide employment for her because she could not find a job otherwise. My car, my money, everything. I was just thrown out into the street because the police thought I was, you know, what is it? My wife was a victim of domestic violence. Which turned out to be not true. I received an apology, but there was no going back. Something happened to my now ex-wife. She completely changed when she came to Canada. And there's so many things that I can talk about. And I will or I won't. I don't know. Let the future decide that. Some of the things I talked about was in this video. I mean, I broke down, man. I lost it. Losing myself, losing my family, being wrongfully accused, broke me. Broke me spiritually, financially, emotionally. I tried to commit a suicide 2 times. It was bad. I lived on the street. I was homeless. And the people that helped me were the scum of the earth. The junkies, the sex workers, lowlifes, people on welfare, people selling crack, people using crack. I lived in such filth that I never really took off my clothes to sleep because it was cleaner than anything that I was sleeping in. And it was just weird and dangerous. Like a lot of times I slept in places that just had issues with addictions, psychological, mental issues. There's just madness, people screaming at night, fighting, just abusing drugs, abusing each other, themselves. Wow. I have no idea how I survived. I was going down south. All along while I was working as a security officer at one of the clubs downtown. I was working at big food chain while living in a car. For years I had no shower or like, it was bad, man, it was bad. In the meantime, my wife stayed by herself. She did not receive any help from her for her mental well-being. Her condition deteriorated. Finally, kids decided they didn't want to stay with her anymore. It wasn't safe. The social services asked me to take care of the kids, or they would be sent for adoption. I had to sober up. Which I did. Then I had a heart attack, which also helped me to sober up. I first had a stroke, then I had a heart attack. Yeah. And here I am now trying to help others. You know, I have a job, I have a car, I can buy Chinese food, I play music. All this can change in a moment. There's no safety or security. My wife, my ex-wife, is still out there living in that world that we left ages ago. She still thinks I'm the bad guy or something that happened to her. Like, you know, I mean, even now, years later, we don't talk. I cannot call her to tell her, I'm sorry, your father passed away. She cannot work, she cannot help herself. Yet she doesn't want anybody's help, and nobody really wants to help her anyways. I mean, people want to help her, but they don't know how to. And then you just live with it. Yeah. We all have ex-wives, ex-marriages. We are also ex. Cheers. That Chinese food was really good. Yeah. What a beautiful day, man. This water, this sea, absolutely amazing. The peace and the quiet. For years, and even now, I just couldn't enjoy it. The trauma of existence completely shattered everything about me. For those of you who watch some of my videos, realize what I've been through ever since I was born, from growing up in former Yugoslavia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, then that bloody war, then immigration, going places, and then the marriage that was just, went from bliss to hell, complete hell. I was a victim of my own mentality, and so was my ex-wife, and I was victim of her own mentality. We abused each other spiritually, sexually, financially, mentally, even physically. I mean, it's just, the reason why I don't believe in relationships and marriage anymore is because of everything that I've observed in my parents' marriage, in my marriage, in other people's marriages. And of course, there are happy marriages. I watched movies with a whole bunch of happy marriages in Hollywood. Everybody's always like, oh, what would you like to have for breakfast? Okay, Dad, how about we have these eggs? Nice, sounds like a great idea. Even my kids say, Jesus Christ, man, nobody lives like this. There's no families that live like that. Yeah, that's the problem, we were told this is gonna be a life, this is Hollywood, this is a movie, and then in real life everything was different. I speak about this in the Newfound Reality podcast, in this holistic approach towards the family unit. You get married, nobody tells you how it's going to be, what's going to be like, what you really have to do, and how to date, how not to date. I don't think any of this works anymore. Seriously, here in St. John's, Newfoundland, we have 82% of single mothers. So that means 82% of parents or fathers are not with their children. Poor single mothers, they really can't do anything. They're stuck for the rest of their lives. I'm a single father. It's really difficult, you have to cook for your kids, make sure they go to bed, they wash themselves, and then you have to do the same thing for you. There was days when I would not even change my own clothes, let alone just there's no time. You gotta work, you gotta take care of everyone else, and then finally at the end of the day you have no strength for yourself. I've been to some of these houses of single mothers, you can see clothes are everywhere. There's just, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to say that I'm very sad about passing of my father-in-law, and in this way I would like to send condolences to my in-laws, to my own family, because again, this is my father's childhood friend. Then after we got married, our family stopped talking to each other. Yeah, I don't know, man, it's all wrong. There must be some kind of way out of here. I think it's that way. That's the way I'm going to go back to town, back to my life, and back to reality. Yeah, I don't know. at some point I would like to put something coherent about this, to say this is who I am, this is what this is all about. But it's so difficult because everything happens all at once. All the sadness, the happiness, the misery. The happiest day of my life and the saddest day of my life are the same. Yeah, love you all. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. I mean, as I'm talking to myself, I'm also talking to you, and as you're listening to me, you're listening to yourself and your own inner voice, in your own inner monologue that tells you what you should be doing. It's there, I know that too. So let's do it. Love you all.